name's Rachel and today we're talking about books about book banning. Welcome to Banned Books Week 2024. Here in the United States, it is Banned Books Week all week long. I'm very excited. Last year, I didn't really get to do a lot. I just made a whole video making fun of and talking about the bad faith arguments of my resident county book banner, who is still going, and I'll stop when she does. She has a friend in Clay County, Florida, who you might have heard of or seen me arguing with on the internet. His name is Bruce Friedman.
A friend of mine has been battling in Clay County. He reads more books than anyone I know in order to fight and get pornographic books out of schools. His name is Bruce Friedman, no left turn in education. You can find him pretty easily. He's been on the news, he's been around.
And Bruce has challenged quite a lot of books, including ones about book banning. In fact, he explicitly states that he wants books about book banning out of schools for being inappropriate. That doesn't make any sense. So today we're going to talk about books about book banning and if they themselves have also been banned. Once again, I would just like to remind you that here is the definition of book banning. Challenging a book is the attempt to ban a book from a library, school district, institution, organization, government entity, retailer, or publisher based on its content. Notice how it doesn't say and. It's not all of those. It's any one of those. If you do it, you're a book banner. Congrats! Challenges can either result in the book being banned or they can be overturned and the book remains in circulation at the organization. Although the US government has engaged in small levels of book banning throughout its history, most books are banned or challenged on a more local scale, which is what you're doing if you try to ban a book at a school district. And again, the or there is very important. Book banning happens in a variety of ways and places, not just one. If you are trying to make inaccessible books that were previously accessible to the public in any one facet, be that a public library or a school library or somewhere else, you are in fact a book banner. We're gonna start with my favorite one. And it's not my favorite because of the content of the book, it's what happened after the fact. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Banned Book Club, which is a graphic novel, and it is a true story. It's based on the author's real experiences. Kim Hyun-suk's real experiences in college in 1983 during South Korea's Fifth Republic, a military regime. So we have students who are fighting against book banning. They do meet up to read banned books. It even says in here that you can't just use communism to describe everything you don't like. It's very much a slap in the face to people who ban books. Now, the thing about people who ban books is that they come in all different kinds and they do all kinds of different banning, but they don't want to be called a book banner because that looks bad. Unfortunately, they don't fail to make themselves look stupid no matter what, because this book itself, a true story about reading banned books, was temporarily banned because of Bruce Friedman in Clay County, Florida. Here's his challenge form where it said that it would damage the souls of children. I just want you to sit with that for a second. Can you imagine thinking that this book, a true story, would damage souls of children? History, which has no sexual content in it whatsoever, despite him telling me and everybody else that he's just fighting to get porn out of it.
In order to fight and get pornographic books out of schools.
He admits there's no porn in this book on his challenge, and yet he says this will damage the souls of children. How will history damage the souls of children, Bruce? How would it do that? Oh man, I'd love an answer. Fortunately, I do have access to Bruce's challenges, and they are so funny. There is an article on this I would love to read to you. The graphic novel Banned Book Club was recently banned, and while the book was returned to the shelves of Clay County, Florida School District in a few days, its authors have a lot to say about why it was banned and how the challenge's strategies mirror elements in the story. Did you hear that? The people who experienced this say that Bruce's tactics mirror what they experienced under the military regime that they wrote about and he wants banned. Gee, why would he do that? This was challenged by Bruce in April of 2023 and temporarily removed from Clay County School District. It was restored after a challenge oversight committee, which is the process in, deciding whether or not the book stays or goes after it's been challenged. They deemed this and more than 100 other titles having challenges on them to be frivolous. And yes, those hundreds were all done by Bruce. See, that's what Bruce does. He challenges hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And despite him trying to tell me there are 500 less pornographic books in Clay County schools because of him, in the reality, this is what he's challenging. He's challenging this and middle grade books and The Last Quintista for having two gay side characters who are somebody's moms? Yeah, sure, you're working to get the porn out of schools, right, Bruce? So this was created by Kim Hyun-suk, her husband Ryan Estrada, and artist Ko Hyung-ju. And it's based, again, on Kim's real experiences in college in the 1990s when she and her friends would meet in secret to discuss and read banned books. There wasn't really like a list of banned books. They were being suppressed by the authoritarian regime at the time. So the graphic novel depicts students being harassed and beaten and interrogated by police and having to sneak these books around. The creators see parallels between the book's events and the political climate that led to its challenge. While this challenge was quickly reversed, that may not be the end of the story, they say. Being put back on shelves also puts a big target on our backs, says Estrada. The organization has a big database of titles, and ones that are not permanently banned are marked in bright red, considered a failure, and then made a priority for appeals. I believe he's talking about BookLooks, which is the website that Bruce and cohorts like Julie Gebhardt's in my county trying to ban books uses to try to disseminate this information on why these books are inappropriate. I talked a little bit about this in my video on Slaughterhouse-5, where all they do is they just print out what BookLooks tells them to think about a book and takes it to their school and says, here, I don't want this book because BookLooks told me what to think about it. And of course, Banned Book Club did end up being put on a list of books that needed to be taken out of schools by a group in Michigan. The Clay County Challenge was among the 100 plus filed in that district alone by Bruce Friedman, president of the Florida chapter of the national organization No Left Turn in Education. Many of Friedman's challenges use identical language on the forms, including "protect children!" as the reason for challenging a book and, quote, "damaged souls" as the result of a student reading it. I would love for Bruce to cite a source. Can you give me some evidence that reading these books over the time period that they have been out consistently has led to damaged souls? And also, can you please tell me how you're quantifying that? The specific objections to Banned Book Club include anti-police sentiment in a book about a military regime. Bitch, what? Do you also have a problem with the Boston Tea Party? Give me a break. Molotov cocktails, creating dangerous anarchists in our schools, resulting in damaged souls, and concluded with, does this book create better citizens? Nope. They were living in a military regime, Bruce. Are you completely empty up here? I was kind of impressed that our book was deemed to damage souls until I realized that's just his catchphrase that he uses on every challenge. Well, yeah, he's really stupid. I mean, if you look at his Twitter where he has all of 80 followers, he just repeats, "What's in your kid's library?" To which I respond because I'm an actual public schools parent. And Ryan Estrada nailed it as far as what's going on with Bruce. The much more personal concern was that our book was dangerously anti-government. Clearly, he does not understand the history the book teaches. It's pretty ironic that a guy whose whole personality is fighting against the current government of the place where he lives thinks a history book about teens opposing the murderous military regime who dismantled their government in a bloody coup is too anti-government. You look so stupid. Oh man, I'd have secondhand embarrassment if I wasn't laughing so hard. I am embarrassed for my resident county book banner who admits that she's friends with him though.
A friend of mine has been battling in Clay County. He reads more books than anyone I know in order to fight and get pornographic books out of schools.
Kim drew a parallel between the deliberate ambiguity of the Korean censorship regime and Florida's approach. Yes! Oh my God, my hero. I'm trying to get a video up this week, I hope I can, about MPAA ratings and why book banners want so desperately for MPAA ratings to be used for books too. And it's because they love ambiguous laws. They love them for the same reason that the dictatorship did. Because it gives them what? Plausible deniability. Korea never had an official list of banned books. They could just decide whatever book you had on you was banned and prosecute you for it. This led to people self-censoring. In Florida, the new laws are so purposely vague and contradictory that no one knows what to do. Various threats are being thrown out, like saying teachers who distribute inappropriate books could be charged with a felony. But since they never defined inappropriate, many remove every book from their building out of caution. This was what was happening in Clay County before the new screening committee was established. The list of books challenged in that district indicate that many were deselected/weeded. Librarians were pressured to self-remove books that no left turn in education and the district wanted to ban by threat of prosecution. They refused to do that anymore, leading to this committee making all the decisions for them. This is the effect that one man has had on his county. One man is so obsessed with controlling other people's children, which is mighty creepy, that he has been able to affect policy like this. Isn't it sick that one man can do that instead of parenting his own kids? Now, I haven't even looked it up because I don't want the answer, but does Bruce even have kids, let alone kids in public school? And if so, why can't you just parent your own kid? Why do you have to parent by taking out hundreds and hundreds of books from other people's children? Why do you get to decide that this book will damage my kid's soul and now that is policy? That's bonkers. That is so weird and creepy. My God, I would not let this man within 100 feet of my children. Estrada points to another similarity between book banning in South Korea in the 1990s and Florida in 2023 politics. The Korean regime of the 1990s banned books about communism because readers might realize that Korea had many of the same problems as communist countries. Similarly, because the regime claimed to be democratic, it banned books about democracy. They knew if people read the definition of democracy, people would realize they didn't have it. Likewise, Florida is banning books that even vaguely mention social injustice because it's not something they want people to strive for. Oh my God. You just hit the nail on the head. Ah, I want to hug you. And of course, they banned a book about the danger and motivations behind book banning under a dictatorship because they don't want to be judged for following the exact same playbook. My God, that's so embarrassing. Our book is not about politics. It's about a group of nerdy friends hanging out and trying to live their lives. They want to do well in school, make friends, and meet cute boys, but because of the climate I grew up in, political situations interrupted all those things. It's all history, but maybe that history hit a little too close to home. There's a line in our book that says, do they ban books because they see danger in the authors or because they see themselves in the villain? Estrada regularly makes presentations to libraries and has kept up to date with the recent wave of book challenges. But even he was surprised at what happened during a recent video workshop. I was giving my usual talk and the school librarian did something I'd never thought to do. She asked, how many of you knew this was happening? As in, to the people attending the workshop. 0 hands came up. Then she went on to describe all of the abuse, harassment, and career-threatening situations she faced on a daily basis to keep their library as uncensored as she could. It blew my mind that none of her students knew about it. This is why it is imperative for you all at home to talk about it. Since then, Estrada has been making even stronger efforts to educate people about the challenges. Kim, who has already lived this once, understands the endgame. There's a scene in our book about the moment I realized I'd grown up in a military dictatorship. I asked my friend why our parents had hidden that fact. He said they just got so beaten down by all of it for so long that they got tired of talking about it. It became normal. That's their plan. Ban so many books that everyone tires of thinking about it and ignores when they start firing teachers for having textbooks with the statue of David in them, shutting down whole libraries, or trying to pass laws where a bookstore can be prosecuted for carrying certain YA books, so we have to keep talking. And I hope you all will. One that I am super excited about, which is an adult contemporary romance, is one called My Kind of Trouble by L.A. Schwartz. This is about a librarian named Preston and a con woman named Harmony. She strolls into town trying to con a politician who ruined her dad's life. And while she's working to, get the town in to do this con she's running, unbeknownst to everyone else, she ends up helping out this librarian who is dealing with book banners who are trying to call him a porn peddler. And along the way, Harmony, using her skills as a con woman, ends up helping him to save library programming. And it's such a love letter to the community that is libraries, the communality, is that a word, of libraries? Like the way that libraries are such a communal hub and they are for everyone. Even right-wingers can find books that they love at the library, but so can I. They are for everybody, but right-wingers don't want that. And that's definitely what Preston is experiencing in his capacity as a librarian. And this is so true to life. And I got a chance to interview the author, and here's a little bit of what she had to say. The full interview will be in an upcoming video.
Was there any sort of sense of catharsis writing this? Because for me, it was so satisfying seeing certain parts where Cheryl, our book banner, her friends start picking up the books that Cheryl does not like. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're starting to fall in love with these books that she wants out of the library. So is it cathartic writing things like that?
Absolutely. All of my books are kind of aspirational, in a fantasy setting, can be much more violent, but Harmony to me is what if you just could talk your way into anything, as a nervous, introvert, autistic, she's so aspirational to me that what if you could talk your way into whatever you wanted? What if people just wanted to give you what you asked for because you were so charming and you were so dogged and driven that you just would wear people away long enough for them to just see and open their eyes a little bit to things that they were scared of because they had never taken a look at it before. So she's around long enough and so charming and everybody loves her that they're like, well, what is this book that I saw her reading? She does it so subtly. And then once they start opening it and they realize that there's nothing to be scared of inside those pages, that if they chose to, that they could enjoy them, as long as they were comfortable with it. And it turns out they're like, oh, there's nothing here that bothers me. I'm actually having a really good time. So yeah, it was really fun to like give that, like, that's her little gift to Preston as he's struggling with these people. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to them. I want to run away. He's so passionate about his work for library patrons and as a youth services librarian, but he doesn't know how to deal with these adults that start coming for him. And that's her little gift, just to like show that like there's actually, a wonderful world that he's offering all of you if you would just take a minute to see what he has to offer.
This book even shouts out particular books that have been challenged in bans, such as Girl, Serpent, Thorn. It's just such it's so cathartic for those of us who both love romance books and just basically want to be like, fuck you to book banners. I can't thank the author, Leanne, enough for writing this. It was, again, just so cathartic. Another book about banning books is Ban This Book by Alan Gratz, which is a middle grade novel, which I have a copy of, but my kid stole it. Finally, for once, he's reading something other than Dragon Ball Z. This is about a little girl who goes to her library to finally check out From the Mixed Up Basil E. Oh, what's that book? Oh, I loved it. Even in my Christian school, they read that to us. Well, it is a book that has been challenged. So this little girl goes to the library to check out her book. It's finally her day to recheck it out. She has to wait to check it back out. She goes and the book's not there. And she asks her librarian, hey, where's the book? And the librarian has to explain, I'm sorry, but that book got removed from the library. And what's funny is it's kind of the same reason why From the Mixed Up Files got banned, is that From the Mixed Up Files, they thought it would encourage children to run away from home. So this fourth grader in Ban This Book is fighting back against the banning of her favorite book, From the Mixed Up Files. And she's a very soft-spoken kid, but then when her favorite book gets taken, she's like, I really have to find my voice and fight back against this. And it's just a darling little book. I got a copy from a library book sale in Memphis, Tennessee when I was visiting my friend Natalie from Weirdo Book Club. I was so excited to find it. Well, unfortunately, both Bruce Friedman of Clay County and Jennifer Pippin of Indian River County. Oh, Jennifer, you are very stupid. Jennifer Pippin is the fucking worst.
In her formal objection, Pippin said the images were pornographic, but in our interview, she walked back that claim.
What's pornographic about them?
So they're not pornographic. They contain nudity.
But nudity alone is not harmful to minors. According to Florida law, the content would have to appeal to a prurient interest, be patently offensive, or without literary or artistic value.
I keep going back to nudity that is harmful to children. Sure. And so a goblin's backside, on the face of it, to me, doesn't seem like it is harmful to children.
Absolutely. So again, you and I can agree on that, but some other parents may not agree.
Pippin told the district to remove the books or draw on clothing using permanent markers to cover up the nudity. So school librarians drew shorts, overalls, and shirts on the illustrations.
To see these drawings, you think that genuinely could adversely affect a child who otherwise may not know what the backside of a goblin looks like or ever thought?
Sure. So if a child is possibly maybe being raped by an adult and, maybe the seeing the nudity in itself, maybe just not the backside, but seeing something nude could be detrimental to them.
Jennifer Pippin is responsible for getting books banned that have a butt on them called No David. She said, no, that is so bad for kids. Okay. I can't believe these people exist and they make a change affecting all of our kids. Keep that stupidity at home. And they voted on her school board in favor, 3-2, of removing it from shelves, despite the fact that the district review committee vetted the work and defended keeping it in schools, because apparently they thought it taught rebellion of school board authority. Yeah, because we all know that obeying authority wholesale all the time is a great idea. And that historically, the United States has certainly never defied authority to leave England and start a whole ass new country. But you're right. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine when those weirdo white men did it. and created a whole ass new country while, killing a bunch of people in the process. But it's not fine when a 4th grader decides she wants to read from the mixed up files. You're right. Understood. Does it surprise you to learn that Jennifer Pippin is the head of the local chapter for Moms for Liberty? No. Who's shocked? Nobody. And of course, the people who voted to ban the book on the school board were supported by Moms for Liberty in their campaigns for school board. This is why you need to vote in your school board election. Alan Gratz, the author of the book, said they banned the book because it talks about the books that they have banned and because it talks about book banning. And that is true.
Further proof of that is Bruce's challenge. He's in a different county than Jennifer Pippin. He's in Clay County. If you remember, he talked about ban this book by Alan Gratz. He said the reason is to protect children. No, it does not contain obscenity that violates 847, which is basically the pornography rule to keep porn out of schools. But he said it's promoting reading banned books, some already deselected for being 847 violators. I highly doubt that there was any porn referenced in Ban This Book by Alan Gratz. But then again, the problem with 847 is that it is too vague, and it allows me and Bruce to both have differing opinions and use that law to say, yes, this is porn. No, this is porn. This is the problem with making it too vague. He says that Ban This Book does not address the content of banned books. So he doesn't like the way that this book talks about banned books and therefore thinks that it needs to be banned. And once again, he says that the result of reading this material will be damaged souls.
It feels like they know exactly what they're doing and they're somehow ashamed of what they're doing and they don't want a book on the shelves that calls them out. Right, because just like Kim said, they don't like it when the books feature them as the villain. Now we're on to one that has not yet been banned, but it has been challenged. And it is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. It is set in Nazi Germany during World War II. It is narrated by Death, and it follows the experiences of this young girl named Liesel Meminger, who is living with foster parents, and she is exposed to the war. She is hiding a Jewish man in her basement, and she also is hiding books that were supposed to be burned. And the reasons that it gets challenged are typically because of its depiction of war, the reality of war, the grief experienced by those experiencing war, the reality of the Holocaust. And it is a simple fact that, unfortunately, stories of the Holocaust are consistently challenged and banned. I'm going to talk about this in a different video when I finish this, but Mouse is an example of a book that has been challenged. It is in black and white and it depicts Jewish folks as mice. And the reason that it was challenged was because of nudity. Again, these are mice. And another example of a book that is about Jewish stories by a Jewish person, which the author of The Book Thief is not, but Jewish stories by Jewish folks about the Holocaust do consistently get banned. So unfortunately, Bruce Friedman said we need to protect children, exclamation point again, from the Diary of Anne Frank. He says that it does a disservice to the lessons on the Holocaust. Specifically, he was talking about the graphic novel adaptation of the Diary of Anne Frank, but he also advocated for removing William Styron's Holocaust book, Sophie's Choice. So in general, the different pieces of the Holocaust, not just the, book burning, the different experiences of Jewish folks have been consistently censored, which is something I'm going to talk about in a different video. And the last thing I want to talk about is a nonfiction, and it's a book about banned books for kids put out by the American Library Association, who is the same organization that hosts Banned Book Week here in the United States. This is through the ALA, but published by Source Books. I picked it up at my local bookstore, Tom Bolo. I love them so much. I found it and I was really excited because my son and I talk a lot about book banning and what I'm doing at his school board. Besides, advocating for him and his brother's ESE stuff, I'm consistently talking about book banning and how inappropriate it is that other parents want to parent him, especially when they don't even have kids in his school or in his school district at all. So I got this so that we could kind of work on things together. And this is a book that has a reading list and activities and questions for teaching kids about reading censored literature. So this is an expansive guide in response to the threat of censorship that is book banning. And what it is it goes over the different books. So for instance, just turning to a random page, it's When Zachary Beaver Came to Town, ages 9 to 12. It gives you the page count. It gives you who the publisher is. It tells you if it's won any awards, which is really interesting. It gives you a full summary. It gives a little before reading thing. It says, engage your child in a discussion about the true qualities of friendship. Have them create a list of things they have in common with their best friend and things they may disagree on. And then it has shared discussion prompts and writing prompts and activities. Now, personally, I can't wait to do this with my kid when he's like, just a little bit older, because right now all I can really get him to read is like Dragon Ball Z. But I think like by the end of this year, I might be able to do this with him. And this is such a resource in like talking about books that have been banned with kids in a way that is promoting like understanding nuance, context, and promoting better literacy, which here in the state of Florida, banning books has never been proven to change our abysmal literacy rates. It's not helping. But what can is active parenting, if possible, and getting kids more involved, writing prompts, asking questions, analysis that feels more personal to them. Oh my gosh, Holes is in here. Did you know Holes was banned? The foreword is done by Judy Bloom, who is often, her books are often banned. It gives you an age range and it'll tell you like 12 and up, 9 to 12, which is really helpful. So that's a book about book banning that hasn't been banned yet, but who knows? They are all very stupid and they probably will. They say it says banned books and they're like, ew, I hate that term, even though it applies to me specifically. If you would like to fight against book banning, you can do so in a variety of ways. It can be as simple as reading the books and talking about them. My best friend, Natalie from Weirdo Book Club, she made this template for me that I requested. It is on my Instagram, or you can go to the link below and grab it. You can talk about your favorite banned books all this week. The whole week is Banned Books Week. Please take advantage of it. Talk about these books. That is the fastest way to get the word out. That is the best way to get the word out. That is the best way to end this. Just like the authors of Banned Book Club said, so many don't know this is happening. And the more that we talk about it, the more we combat it. Because once everyone sees how stupid and silly this is, these idiots will have to find something else to do. Preferably parent their own kids if they even have any. Or maybe they could, I don't know, read a book that they aren't just reading to try to find keywords in and complain about out of context. Please leave your favorite book about book banning down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.
And before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Therapy Bills patrons, and those are Alexander, Ashley H, Astra, Astrid P, Brittany Bobitney, Call Me Kodiak, Choco's Trash for Japanese Mysteries and Thrillers, Chris the Horror Therapist, DJ Rocktopus, EK Casey, Ellie, Aaron with 2 E's, Eric GalaxyBot, Jess, John E, Julie D, K, Kaleno K, Casey McKenzie, Kate W, Quinn, Lady Kittybug, Lictor of the Undying Josh, Lictor? It can't be licked, can it? I don't know. Lady Chips, Lemon Jelly, Lily B, Max B, Min B, Mommy Zombie, Alice, Panoramic Demon, Peggy Luhu, Rain, Ree Mirage, Reese, SJ, Samar, Scarlet, Shiny, SMK, Spoopy, Steph B, T Delegati, 2 Orbit, Urchin Audrey, White Raven 13, Zorvictia, and Chai Guy. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend. And last but not least, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my potato starch Marxists, and those are AB Daniels Anaki, Alejandra, Alicia Herbie Derby Do. Alicia, what did you change your last name to? Althea, Amanda D, Andy, Angelica, Armadildo. What are you guys doing? Artie the Ninth, Ava, Ballads and Bookends, Beck, Blake Lemon Pants, Blythe, Bookish Brainrot, Bookish by Jenna, Bree, Kate B, Caitlin, Cardinal Ginger, Carlin, Carly, Casper, Kate W, Catherine, Kathy, CJ, Claire Online, Colleen, Corwin, Cosmic, Darius, Danielle, Darren, Desiree Michelle, Dilf Enthusiast, Dorothea, Drive-By Thinker, E.T. Cosgrove, Ebby, Emily A, Emma, Emma Kingsbane, Ezra Moon, Fiona, Francis, Gadarn, Hannah Bunny, Hannah C, Harpy Kuro, JM Tennant, Jay's on Olympus, Jelly V, Jen Michelle, Genderqueer, Jenny G, Jessa Sue, Jill, Jojo Bookish, Juicy Wizard, Kat, you guys are killing me, Catherine, Katie L, Kaylee, Kayala, Kendra, Kitten, KMTV, Laughing Cat Dog, Lauren G, Lazarus Ray, Library of Scars, Lindsay M, Lisa B, Lisa L, LP, Luciri, Lustful Octopus. Oh man, that reminds me of that Kraken book I just read the other day. Martin, Maddie Moen, Madison, Man-Eating Plant, Marquita, Megan, Malara, May, Mima Who, Molly, Never, Nicole G, Nicole R, Nemeska, Nyan Binary, Paige P, Paul, Penelope G, Penny Chilling, Foxglove, Pandemonium, Queen Cereal, Rachel B, Reba, Rebecca, Rebecca R, Ronnie, Rosie Thorns, Rowan, Sikoria, Saintbringer, Sakialume, Sarah H., Sarah the Bear, Sarah Z., Shamed, Shannon, Sean, Sisette, Sophie, Talia, Tiana, Trashcan Teddy, Triple M, Tito Phoenix, Wobbs. It says Wobbs. I am going to need you to tell me how to say that. It's WHAABZ. Is it Wobbs? Help me. Writer A and multi-level marketing scheme with a W. Oh my God, you guys kicked my ass today. All right, thank you.